The episode begins in the palace. Here we see Sid is sipping tea while thinking about Miss Rose, who is being blackmailed into marriage. Then the maid comes and sits next to Sid and seems to be praising him by holding his hand. But Sid here just keeps trying to take out his hand from her hold. Seeing this, too, like this, Miss Chiron also holds Sid's hand. Now both the girls don't seem to have any intention of leaving Sid's hand. Then we see Sid half-naked playing piano, though we don't know why he did that. Maybe he's feeling a little hot. Then Sid plans to find Queen Oriana, who's been taken hostage by Perv. That's what Rose said to Sid. But shockingly, Sid finds out that Queen is having an affair with Perv. She's also involved in Perv's plan. And also she's the person who poisoned King. After seeing both of them doing coochie-coo, Sid gets an idea of showing this whole scene to Miss Rose. Rose was looking sad and depressed in her room. Suddenly, Shadow appears in her room. Rose couldn't think of anything and thought of attacking Shadow, but she keeps her dagger back inside. And she tells him how she repaid his kindness with betrayal. But Shadow ignores that and tells her to follow him. He wants to show her the truth. Rose, after hearing the voices from her mother's room, could not control herself and started vomiting. She was disgusted and didn't want to believe what she just saw. This is the truth. Believe it, Shadow says, but Rose just faints. She wakes up in her room all sad and pissed off. Then suddenly she hears the sound of piano from outside and gets surprised to see Sid playing that piano. She says, "I killed my father, got betrayed by my own mother. I betrayed my organization, and now everyone in the kingdom hates me. But you, my Sid, you're the only one who stayed with me through it all. So let's both of us go somewhere far, far off." "I like this piece of music," Sid says. "It helps me to divide the world into two parts, one that's important and one that's not." "What matters to you, Rose?" After listening to the words of Sid and seeing the ring which was mistakenly dropped by Sid, Rose with a soft tone just says, "My dear Sid." Sid at his place tries to find the ring and could not find it, but he had no idea that he dropped it at Miss Rose's place. For those who don't know, this ring actually belonged to Perv Hat, not Sid. Sid actually stole it from him. Now continuing the scene, on the night of the wedding, many people are protesting against Rose outside the palace and are unhappy with the wedding since she killed their king. While Perv was getting ready for the wedding and talking to himself about how everything he did for this moment is about to end soon. It's all about the ring. They wanted to use the ring to open the portal that will allow the Ragnarok to enter this world. But the king actually transferred the ownership to Rose. That's the reason Perv has to marry her and take the ownership as her husband. But as soon as he opens the box, he finds it empty. Before he can think of anything, Sir Mordred contacts him and tells him about the arrangements he made and ensures him to give the 12th seat in Round's cult as soon as the ceremony is over. And he cuts the call. Perv is now scared to death and speechless. The scene then shifts to wedding ceremony hall, and we see Rose wearing the wedding dress enters the room. Rose then directly declines to the marriage. Perv, quite shocked, gets pissed off and shouts at her. She then puts on the ring which she got from Sid, and a sudden beam of light goes up to the sky, and a projectile of Rose's father is summoned, in which he explains everything, how he is getting drugged, as well as Perv's plan to take over his kingdom. He father states, "My dear Rose, if you receive this message, then that means I am already dead." Perv is thoughtless and don't know what to do. Since Perv's plan got flopped, all of his followers turned against him and are willing to accept Rose as the new heir. Rose then gets ready to attack Perv, but suddenly before she could do anything, we see Perv's head flying and dropped in front of Queen Oriana. Queen gets freaked out and screams loudly, but in an instant, her head also gets cut off by Mordred. No one noticed, but he was disguised as the priest. He killed them because they failed their mission. When Rose Oriana confronts him, he calls himself as the 9th seat holder of the rounds. He then presses a button which opens up a portal. He with a big laugh says, "Do you know about the legend of how 100,000 troops disappeared at one night?" He calls it the Black Rose. but the true name of the creature is Ragnarok. Mordred commands the creature to destroy the city, and it starts doing it. But in an instant, Ragnarok's hand is cut off, and yes, you have guessed it, right, it's Shadow. He makes a grand, flashy entry, and the episode ends.